Last week I was doing a brand clarity session with a good client of mine I've worked with for years and years and years. And one thing that came up was the changing of a word, the changing of how we think about ourselves, how we speak about ourselves, how we identify. It was clear that they're a leading company within their industry. But when we were talking about who are we or how would we describe ourselves, when I brought up the word leading, or I think someone else might have said it, everyone was very uncomfortable with the idea of calling themselves a leading company within the industry. This is a common kind of thing, right? Now, I'll just explain what happened here. The business has grown so much over the years, but they haven't grown their identity for maybe 10 years. They've just put their heads down, done the work, and they've got to where they originally wanted to get to. Now that they're there, their identity is lagging behind so far, so they don't identify as who they are now. They still see themselves as the company from 10 years ago. Eventually, in the conversation, someone said, "No, we are a leading company." And then you could see around the table, everyone else beginning to agree. And now that they've agreed on that, you could instantly see everyone sitting up, feeling like proud, because the realization had set in. This is going to have huge implications to how the business is run now, because if they now see themselves as a leading business in the industry, they're going to be communicating that to their audience. So their audience is not only your clients, your audience is also your employees. So if you were acting like you're this high up, confident, leading company, and everyone that works for you is going to feel like that too. We're no longer this small business from 10 years ago. We're now a big business that we wanted to become this business when we first started, and now we're here and we're recognizing that. And it's an evolution. The people coming in, you hire in new people, they want to work for that company because it's a leading company. The clients want to hire you because you're a leading company. And it all comes from you saying, "I am a leading company in our industry." But it just shows how the small change in perspective can completely transform the brand, and how you think about the brand and how your audience then thinks about the brand, and even what you're putting out there. It's like a gratitude or a reflection on how much you've actually done. We work with a lot of like second generation, third generation owners of brands. A lot of the time it's started by a parent, and what happens is they get to a point then where they realize this brand was kind of built by the original owner. Their morals, their values, their process, the way they do things, the way their relationships, their behavior, everything has contributed to where the business is now. And when that person's about to leave, well, then we have a problem, because we're worried that those things will get lost. There is a big thing, because what we have to do is find out what these things are that made the business so special. And, you know, it's hard to get into the nitty gritty of it unless you sit down and talk about it properly for, you know, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and really identify what it is that they found made the business different from other businesses they worked in, what they found really helped them, what their clients seem to say, you know, and to find those repetitions, the pattern of what it is that made this company the company it is today. But also then we need to look to the future. So what sometimes happens then as well when it's a second generation, third generation thing is the goals originally have stopped because it's plateaued, it's got to a point, and now this new owner or younger owner is coming in with big ambitions, and they want to take it somewhere that maybe the original owner doesn't want to take it because they've gotten older, they're not as ambitious anymore, they're happy with what they've done, and it's time to, you know, you can see the life cycle of things. As with anything, you kind of get, you know, you get bored of stuff after a while. So they might get set in their ways, and the younger generation wants to take it somewhere. But we can't get to that other place without knowing exactly what it is that got us to where we are today. So once we know that, then we need to find out, where do we all actually want to go? And that can be very important as well, because you could have a big team of people. No one really knows where they want to go. What is the vision? The vision is your Northern Star. You need to know where you're going to go. But what is it? You need to sit down and find out what that is. So if we know how we got here, we want to go there. So how do we now get to there? And what happens then is we talk about, so basically if your mission then is how you're going to get to your vision, right? So your brand mission is how you're going to get to your brand vision. But we figure out what's the gap in there that's stopping us from getting to this other thing. It can be a number of things. It can be many, many things, right? It can be marketing, it can be communications, it can be loads of different things it can be, but we must pinpoint them. And we don't know what the problems are yet if we don't know what the vision is. I've made a new rule for Studio Grade is that like I don't really want to do any creative work anymore unless we do a brand clarity session first, because it saves so much money. We have two types of clients, right? One type is a client who is very ambitious. Like I just said, has taken over the company, wants to bring it somewhere else, right? Wants to take it to the next level, into the next chapter. They come to us, we help them do that. The other client then is someone that's taken over business and it's just a mess. And normally what that is they have no brand clarity, right? So they want to take it somewhere and they haven't done this yet, right? So they don't really know where they want to go. They might know, but no one else knows. They have no alignment in their brand. Like I said, in the brand clarity sessions and workshops, it sounds like I'm trying to sell them, right? I'm trying not to sell them here. I'm trying to just talk about what they're about, right? But you get document at the end that has your message. So it has your message, it has your position, brand touch points, how to talk about your brand in certain, situations, how to present your brand, everything. So every brand touch point, even from talking to someone in a pub to doing a presentation in front of 100 people or 1,000 people, that's all covered so you know what to say. If you don't have that done, every time someone's talking to someone, they're saying a different thing about your brand and they might be misrepresenting your brand a lot, And that dilutes the whole brand itself. So if you've 200 employees and no one really knows where we're headed or how to talk about the brand, the audience, the general audience won't understand it, or they just don't really know what the brand even does. So those brands also then are like, we need a new website, right? So they'll go to a website company to get a new website. Website company are off making a branded website or a website for them. They don't really know what it's for either. They don't really know what to say. Then the guys are getting a rebrand done, let's say over here. Same thing, it's not aligned. So the branding company aren't talking to the website company. They both are getting different messages because no one really knows what the vision is, what we're doing here, who we're targeting. So everything's messed up. And then also they go get a big video done, and then the video is messed up as well because it's all, fragmented and messy. And we get a lot of those clients coming into us saying, we worked with these guys, they messed up the whole thing, or we worked with these guys, it's all over the place, we weren't happy with it. And they would have spent like a lot of money because the amount of money that you can waste, like you could spend 30 grand on a website, 20 grand on a rebrand, 15 grand on a video. And none of it is really working properly. We don't know why we're making it. Why are we making it? That's another thing then as well. Like, why did you make this? And a lot of the time you could have done a big budget thing and not know why you've made it. So there you go. That's what I was thinking this week. It's a little bit of the brand process in practice. Thank you very much for listening and have a lovely week.